Hello guys, my name is Srinivasrao. I am a Python trainer, 20 years of experience both in teaching as well as project experience, and in this session we will be discussing about class functions. In previous video we discussed about constructors, types of constructors, and what is self variable, we discussed in detail. In this session we will be discussing about class function in object programming. What are the functions? Class functions. Okay. These are the class functions. Number 1, get attr, set attr, del attr, and has attr. Okay. We will discuss one by one. So, let me first create one class. So, as usual we will create one student class student, and first I will create one constructor. So, how to define constructor? Def, using def keyword underscore init self. So, what is init, what is self, we discussed in previous video. Now, here I want to declare attributes or variables. So, where we will declare? We will declare in constructor or init method. So, roll number, name of the student, and age of the student, right. Now, I want to initialize these variables, I want to initialize this variable. So, I will say self is nothing but reference of the memory reference of the current object. Current object's roll number equals to RNO, current object's name equals to name, current object age equals to age. This is nothing but initialization. Now, I will create one more method, okay, by using a def keyword. I will create one function in class, that is display. This display method will display the details of student. So, first parameter self. Okay. So, I will say here print roll number, this will print string, this string, and comma I will give self dot RNO. Next, print name of the student, comma self dot name. Next, print age of the student, comma self dot age. So, this method will print the details of student. So, my class definition is done. Now, I want to create one object. I will create one object. So, main program starts from here when we create the object. So, I will say for example, obj object student 1 std1 first student object equals to class name is student, and in the constructor we declared three input parameters or variables. These three variables were declared in constructor. So, when you create the object we have to pass the arguments. For example, 100 is the roll number, okay. Rohit is the name of the student, and age is the student of age. So, what happens when you run this program? When you execute this program, okay, it starts from line number 14. The main program starts from line 14 when we create the object. So, when you create this object, this 100, once again I will repeat what happened when you execute this line number 14. When you execute line number 14, okay, this 100, this argument will pass to roll number, this Rohit will pass to name, this 21 will pass to age. Okay. Means line number 4 self dot roll number contains what? Self dot roll number contains 100. So, the value of RNO will assign to current object's roll number, This name Rohit will be assigned to current object's name. This age will assign to, this 21 will assign to current object's age, and okay, done. This is done. This happens when you execute this program, right. Now, we will see what are the functions, class functions. Already built in functions are there. Okay. One is get attr, one is set attr, one is del attr, and one is has attr. Get attribute, I want to know the attribute value, okay, attribute value. For example, I want to know what is the value of this name attribute. If you want to know then the value of this name attribute. So, there is one function called getAttr, and we have to pass two arguments. See here, one is object name, one is attribute name. So, first here getAttr, and see here in the brackets one is O is nothing but object and a name of the attribute. So, here we pass what object name. Object name is what first object is obj std1 comma, which attribute I want to know, name attribute. I want to know the details of name attribute, and come here and print this, print and run the program. When you run the program, see it is printing the attribute name attribute value, that is Rohit, okay. So, this name, so it printing this name, which name? This one, this Rohit, right. For example, I want to know the age, for example. So, if you want to know the age, getAttr object name is obj std1, I want to know the value of roll number or age. For example, I will take age. First object's age, first object is what? Rohit's object is it is 21. So, like this we can find out the value of attribute by using getAttr method or a function, getAttr function. In the brackets we have to pass two arguments, one is object name and one is attribute name, right. Then we have one more function called set. Set will set the value of the attribute, set will set the, it will update the existing value of the object. For example, see here what is the syntax, first thing, then we will see the example. Set attr object name comma attribute name comma new value. See, for example, now Rohit is turned up to 22, I want to update this, now is it 22. So, I want to update or set by using setAttr. So, please here setAttr, see we have to pass three things, one is object name, one is name of the attribute, one is new value, okay, right. Object name is what? Object name is obj std1 student 1 comma, which attribute you want to update? I want to update age attribute, and I want to give new value. So, now Rohit has turned up to 22, okay. So, I will just give you, I will see existing is what 21, old value is 21 and new value should be 22 here, 22, right. We set, we are set, okay. Now, I want to print the age of the Rohit. So, what will say? I will say print object name is what? Object name is what? obj std1 dot age. Now, we will see the age. When we create the object, it was 21, the Rohit size was 21. Now, at line number 17, we updated by using this function called setAttr. Then I want to print this age. Now, we will see what will be the output. The output is 22, okay, because we have set, we have updated. We updated at line number 17, that is called second function setAttr. Now, I want to remove delAttr. DelAttr will remove the attribute. For example, I want to remove age. So, we have one delAttr. See here object name, attribute name. So, object name is std obj1 std1 comma, which attribute you want to delete? I want to delete age attribute, okay, right. Then what I will do? I want to print age. We will see whether you will get error or not. Okay. Now, after deleting, I am trying to print. I am trying to access this age attribute. So what will you here? Object name std1 dot age. Now, what happens? We will see. We will try to print. After deleting, we are trying to access or print. Trying to access. Now, we will run this. What happens? We will see. We will see. What happens? We got an error. Why? Because here at line number 16 we have deleted this age attribute. That is the reason student object has no attribute called age. We got this error. Why? Because at line number 16 we removed, at line number 16 we removed by using this delAttr. Okay. Next there is one thing called has attr, one more function, whether the attributes exist or not. See, this will check, this has attr will check whether the attribute is present or not. So, for example, I will say has attr, object name is obj std1 comma age, we will see age. See, it will return false. Why? Because it is deleted. So, this function will return false. Why? Because it is not. So, here for example, I will declare one variable called x, for example, x equals to has attr obj std1 object name comma attribute name. Now, this will return, it will return either true or false. If it is there, it returns true. If it is not there, it will returns false. So, this function will return false now. Why? Because we remove this by using delete here, and I will try to print this x. I will try to print x, and now we will say either true or false. False, because the age is removed. For example, here I will remove age and will give name here. For example, name already exists, it is already. So, this will return true, because we did not deleted this name attribute, we deleted only the age attribute. So, it will give true. So, these are the 4 functions, built in functions, right. We understand these 4 functions. Okay. This class attributes we will discuss later, otherwise what we will do, we will do dict, doc, name and model. See, there are built in, we had done with class functions. We will discuss about class attributes, built in attributes. Okay. All our built in attributes are we have like underscore initially, before underscore, after underscore, prefix with underscore, postfix with underscore. So, first we have dictionary, DICT. So, this dictionary contains class namespace, one is dog, it is contains documentation, name, class name, model name, which is class is defined. Okay, these are the class attributes. So, one by one we will discuss. For example, what I will do here, I will create one documentation. Okay. How to create documentation? Just comment by using this triple quotes or single quotes, whatever. If it is single line, we can give single quotes, but I give triple quotes. So, this is called documentation. This is documentation of the class. Documentation of the class means when classes, who created this class, when it is created, all the documents will be there in this class. This is what, ignore, this compiler will ignore these lines, because we use this triple quotes or double quotes or single quotes, whatever. Now, I want to print this. If you want to print the documentation of any class, okay, so so what we will do, we will have one attribute. For example, I want to print documentation. So, we have object name dot underscore doc. See, there is one attribute called DOC. DOC will print the documentation. DOC will print the documentation. Right. See, it is printing what? Documentation. Like that we have what? Model name, class name, dict. For example, now we will say dict. What is this dict? DICT. DICT will give the attributes and values. See here in dictionary, roll number 100, name Rohit, age 22. Dict will give the values of the attributes or variables in key value pair. See, dictionary will store in key value pair, right. So, roll number is key, 100 is value, name is key, Rohit is value, age is key, 21 is a value, right. Like that we have name, object name underscore name. It will print name attribute object name dot name. Okay, we will see model. We will see about the name later. We will say model underscore name is not working. We will see why it is not. This model is main model. About this main we will discuss in detail later. What is this mean? Okay, we will discuss later. So, we are done with class attributes, right. So, we are done with this one. Now, next concept is let me show you this syllabus, then we will come here. So, we had done with basics of object-oriented programming, we had discussed. So, second concept is types of variables in methods. See, in basics of object-oriented programming we discuss what is object, what is class, what are methods, what is init method, what is constructor, types of constructors, what is self variable, what are attributes, class attributes, what are built in class functions we had discussed. Now, in this now what we will discuss about types of variables and methods in object-oriented programming Python. Okay. Types of one minute, just give me 1 minute. Okay, what happened? Types of variables and methods or functions in class in object-oriented programming Python. Not only Python, it can be C++, it can be Java, any object-oriented programming language. So, there are we will discuss about types of variables. There are two types of variables. Number one is instance variables. And number two instance variables, and number two is class variables. Right. We will start with instance variable. Now, what are instance variables? What is an instance variable? How to create instance variable? How to modify values of instance variable? And what are the ways to access this instance variables? Okay. We will start with instance variable. If the value of variable varies from object to object, changes from object to object, it varies from object to object, then such variables are called instance variable. For every object, a separate copy of the instance variable will be created. If the value of variable varies from object to object. For example, I will show here. This is student class, and here there is one student. For example, now I will create one more student, obj std2. Okay, equals to, I am creating second object, std2 student. Okay, for example 101. Okay, for example Virat. Okay, for example 32. For example, see, if the value of a variable varies from object to object. See, for first object the value of RNO is 100, the value of name is Rohit, the value of age is 21, varies from object to object. For second object, the value of this roll number is 101, the value of name is Virat, and the value of age is 32, means it is varying. So, this type of variables are called instance variable. This type of variables here, this roll number, age, these types of variables are called instance variables, because for every object the values are varying, changing. Okay, instance variables. right. So, roll number, name, age, actually they are called instance variable. Why they are instance variable? Because for every object the values are varying, changing. For example, see here again 100 for first object, for second object is 101. For third object, for example, I will take one more object example, third object equals to student, okay. For example, 102. See the values change here, because third student roll number is 102 and the name is for example Ajay, and for example, here I will give 28 for example. See every object the values are changing, varying from object to object. 100 Rohit 21, second object 101 Virat 32 and third student 102 Ajay and 28. So, what is the definition? What is the meaning? The meaning is, if the value of variable varies from object to object, then such variables are called instance variables, and for every object a separate copy of the instance variable will be created. For a separate copy, for every object a separate copy of the instance will be created. Instance variables are not shared by objects. See this is not shared. See this Rohit, first student is first object name is Rohit, right. We are not sharing to a second object, to third object. Every object has own copy, they are called instance variable. Instance variable. This means that for each object of the class an instance will be different, okay, right. Instance variable are used within the instance method. The instance method we will discuss in coming this one. We use instance method to perform such. We can access instance by using object and a dot operator. Next you should know how to access. We understand what is instance variable. Next is how to access instance variables. If you want to access instance variable, we use dot notation, dot operator, okay. The syntax is object name dot instance variable name, okay. Example, now what I will do, see I have three objects here, but I want to access first object's name. If you want to access first object's name, what will be your object name, first object name, that is std1 dot attribute name or variable name or instance variable. The instance variable is what? Name. Yes. So, I will print this now. So, like this we can access objects attribute, okay. First object name instance variable. So, it prints the value of name instance variable of first object, that is Rohit. Same way, same thing, what I do, I want to access second object, third object, okay. Name, next is for example second object, third object, first object, second object, third object. I am accessing name attribute for 3 objects. So, see here when I run this program, it is displaying what? It is displaying Rohit, Virat and Ajay. So, see this definition again, every object, if the value of variable varies from object to object, then such variables are called instance variable. So, this name is instance variable because every object has own copy. For first object is Rohit, second object is Virat, third object is Ajay, and we are not sharing object to another, the value of attribute to another instance variable. We are not sharing this value to another object, right. So, how to access? We can access by using dot, instance variable used within the instance, okay. We can access the instance variable by using object and dot operator, okay, right. Now, see here for example, there is a class called test class, okay, and here in this constructor I declared one variable called num. Num is called one instance variable. Num is one instance, and we have created 3 objects here. T1 is one object, and when I create T1 object, the initial value, the starting value is what? 10 here, and second object the starting value is 20. For third object the value of num is 30. So, here every object has its own copy of the instance variable. For first object the value for 10, the value is 10, second object 20 and third object 30. How to create instance variable? Instance variables are declared inside a method using self keyword. We use constructor to define and initialize the instance variable. Okay. Examples here, there are two instance variables, name and age, and where we created this is we created in constructor, and we know what is constructor. So, this init method init method is called constructor, right, we discussed in previous video. Now, this name and age are instance variables. So, here we initialized, and here we created one object called S1, S1 equals to student Jessa and 20. Okay. How to access? Already we discussed by using dot operator, object name, dot operator and instance variable name. Now, S2 we create another object called S2, and the name is Kelly and the age is 10. Okay. So, every object has own copy of the instance variable and we access by using this dot operator, right. Now, I want to modify. We can modify the value of instance variable and assign a new value to it by using object reference, by using dot object name dot instance variable equals to some value, we will give some, we will update one value, we will give new value. How? By using object reference. So, when you change the value of variable of first object, it will not reflect in second object, because every object has own copy. So, when you update any variables, instance variables, it will not reflect in other objects, because every object maintains separate copy of the instance variable. Example, what I will do here, I want to update Rohit's age, So, what I will do here, after printing everything, again after printing the old details, now I want to update which object, first object, that is obj1, std1, first object, dot operator, age variable equals to, now Rohit has turned to 22. So, it will not reflect Vira's age or Ajay's age, because we have updated the first object's variable. So, as every object maintains separate copy, every variable of the object maintains separate copy, it will not reflect in other objects. So, again what I will do, again I will print this one, again I will print, this is after modification, this line number 21, 22, 23 is before modification, before updating the age, or at line number 25 update the age of first object, then again at 27, 28, 29 I am printing the details of first object. Okay. For here I will say age here, not name, age of the second object, age of the third object, then I printed, I modified, I updated. Okay. Then again I will print the age after updating age of first object, age of second object and age of third object, and now we will run, see here 21, 1 meter 21, what I will do, I will draw one line here, okay. This is after updating line, yes. So, line before line it is old details, 21, age of Rohit is 21, age of Virat is 32 and age of Ajay is 28. After updating the first object's age, see I updated with 22. So, see here first object is the age is 22 now, 21 is turned to 22, but it is not reflecting here, this is not reflecting. I changed in first object, it is not reflecting in second object and third object, because maintains separate copy, every object variables are maintains separate copy, that are called instance variable, okay. So, we understand how to update instance variable, how to modify values of instance variable, and ways to access instance variable. There are two ways. there are two ways to access instance variable class within the class instance method by using object reference self and by using getAttr method, getAttr method. Okay. GetAttr method. Okay. Right. Already we discussed this getAttr and also by using object reference. Here for example, I want to use I want to access object now. I want to access the variables. For example, either you can use directly object name dot variable name or getAttr. For example, first object std obj std1 obj std1 comma name attribute. This already we discussed, and we will print this, and we will print this. Right, run this. Yes, Rohit. Yeah. So this is a way to access. This is a way to access. This is a way to access. So we are done with. See, in this screenshot, we have constructor. We have one method called show method. There are three instance variables, name and names. There are two instance variables. One is name and percentage. Okay. Object is std. Okay. And in tomorrow's next video session, we will be discussing about class variables. Okay. So we have finished with the instance variable. In next class, next session, we will be discussing about class variables. If you like this video, please click on like button and share our channel. Thank you very much.